Okay, I had somebody ask about some different wood options. They were looking at either kind of a gray or black, possibly some sort of acrylic or polyester, something like that. This has got a lot of bluish gray in it mixed with some white. It's a Buckeye burl. And then I wanted to go over just a little bit with ebonizing, which is also another option for chemically altering the wood's color. Of course, you can get black woods also, but it just opens up a little more grain options to be able to alter some woods. So ebonizing chemically reacts with tannins in certain woods. So whatever woods have high concentration of tannins can be easily darkened. So I'm going to do that here for you with a couple of different woods just to see what your, what some of the different results are. I'm going to set this down for a second, excuse me, so I can pop the lid off of this. Okay. All right, here we've got my soup that I'm going to use. I'm not going to change this. I really like the way this looks. So if someone specifically requests, the person I'm sending this video to specifically requests that I go ahead and darken the whole thing, I will do that. But until I get that word, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as it is. But here's some sawdust from it just to get an idea of what it will kind of look like. I'll go ahead and kind of um, mix in. That was a little much on the liquid. That's all right. We'll let that sit for a second, but then we'll go over some other woods. All right. So one that I think works really well is some oaks work really great, and walnut. Black walnut has a lot of tannin in it. Here's a piece that is really nicely figured. So, it'd be hard to get some really nicely figured ebony, some of the other black wood. So you can just take some walnut here with some nice figure in it, and instantly it's turned black. I don't know if it just looks wet to you, but it's black. So walnut's a good option, and open up a little bit more interesting grain. Okay. This here is some gamble oak or scrub oak. I think it's really pretty. That's kind of a grows around here. And you can see what this does. So there is a chemical difference between heartwood and sapwood. I think that's what you're seeing here. Is the sapwood doesn't have as much tannin as the heartwood, obviously, because you're getting a nice, an interesting contrast, which could work out really great with the brush that has a little bit of both the heartwood and the sapwood. It has darkened the sapwood some, but the heartwood really reacted with it. So I think it's like that with all oaks, I believe. Here's another chunk of oak right here that I was kind of messing around with. Okay. And I think so the white oak there gets a little bit of a reaction. I think about ash does about the same. I've had some ash that seems to really darken nicely, but this isn't as I've had some ash that darkens about like that. So oak, this white oak may not be your best option there, but flip it over and you got a little bit of different wood right there. So it might be interesting to see. That's reacting a little differently. So let's get I really like that. That really just shows off. I don't think you can really see it here. But it kind of shows off some of the grain that's less obvious. It pops out some of the stuff that you wouldn't typically notice in the wood. I really like what it's done over there. Over here, not so much. So again, I think this lighter wood here is sapwood, and here we've got some heartwood, this darker on the other side. Okay, we've got some cocobolo. Not looking too great because it was really roughly sawn. So you can't really see the grain in it, but we can go ahead and experiment with that. As long as it's not covered in wax, and it might be. It doesn't really seem to be soaking this in very well. And that looks like it does about nothing. So no tannins present in cocobolo. So definitely some options. Get some oak or some walnut and make sure that we get something that has heartwood. Same thing with ash. I think it kind of reacts a little bit like this piece of oak, and you can see where that's settled in. Going back to the buckeye, this is just a soup, unfortunately. It darkens it into kind of a gray. It's just too wet. Maybe I ought to do that one again. Let's see. Well, so if you can imagine these white parts kind of gone gray, kind of blend in with the gray that's there, and the gray that's there might darken. It'll still be nice and swirled. It's not going to turn into one homogeneous color here. Okay, if you have any questions or you want to see any other examples, we can do that. I can show you what happens with other woods if you're interested.